I hate to be the one to say it, but most product managers out there don't know how to work well with machine learning teams. Now, here is my promise to you: give me 30 minutes, and in the end of this session, you'll be better at collaborating with machine learning teams than 80% of product management professionals out there. Now, we are starting with a myth that you probably heard, that machine learning teams and machine learning people don't really care about users. So use the chat wherever it is that you watch us right now: LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. And please let me know, what do you think about that? So do you think that, product managers are all about the focus, or that we have something in common with machine learning teams where they focus more on the process? Is it just approach that is like agile or scientific wise for product managers, or what is it for you? Where do you stand? So true, product managers are about users and machine learning teams are not, or maybe it's somewhere in the middle. Maybe we won't go that far. Let me know in the chat. I can already see a few comments from you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing more. Now, today, as you know, we are talking about product managers, and we are talking about machine learning teams and product managers. We know that we what we focus on usually it's the end result, and machine learning teams usually they care about the integrity of the experiment. Now, why is it so interesting for us guys to talk about? Because the frustration happens when we don't understand this difference. The frustration happens when, instead of understanding this difference, we just fight it, and we don't understand each other. And trust me on this one, when you recognize this difference, and when you actually change the way you work with machine learning teams accordingly, everything starts to click. And this is where the magic happens. Now, why are we talking about this today, and why am I the person to talk about this? So, you all know me as Moriya Kassis from Productly, the founder and general manager, and I'm so proud to wear this hat. But my quote unquote day job is working as a consultant. I work as a product management consultant with organizations, usually like very tech heavy organizations, and I have the pleasure to work with amazing, amazing, amazing teams out there. And if to recognize two things that I think I'm good at, two things or that are my strength. One, I'm really good in making product management people fall back in love with our work, with our profession. And the next thing that I'm very good at is making these genius people, like these crazy math, crazy scientist guys, to not only trust us product managers, but to trust the processes that we bring with us. And this is what I want for you guys, because this is where the magic happens. I want you to have this same experience. And I wanted to see something that I'm actually very proud of. A year ago, I was published on Nature. I was lucky enough to work with an amazing, amazing, amazing team where we built a wonderful product. It was a designated web interface where we allowed researchers and clinicians to query for symptoms, etiologies, and this amazing experience of being published and working with this super mad scientist. This is only because I know how to work well with these people, and this is exactly what I want for you. Now, we all know that when we talk about product management, usually we use this, analogy of duct tape, like, as long as it works. I don't care, how things are done, as long as it works, as long as we get things done. Uh, Machine learning teams, we can say it's more about integrity. We can say that there is something to be about, the end result. And I wonder about you guys, and there is no right or wrong answer here, I promise you that. when we talk about the mindset of us as product managers when we go into building product, please go ahead and use the chat. What is this mindset that works for you, that you relate to? Is it A, whatever works, even if it's duct taped? Going into a demo with some customers and nothing really works behind the scene. Or B, only counts if it's built the right way. So, day one, day two, day three, we need everything to work out perfectly. Or again, somewhere between duct tape and science. I'm really interested as a product professional myself to know what you guys think about that, and what do you think? What is your approach when you go into building a new product? Our agenda for today, we are going to meet my machine learning team. Five of my colleagues, they're going to somehow join us here on this stage. We're going to meet them. They are going to share with us the five frustrations that they have with product management professionals. Then you guys are going to build a feature with me. We are going to design a feature for Product League together right here, and we're going to see how can we do it the okay way and the best way, the optimized way for working with machine learning teams. And then I'm going to share some answers with you guys. I'm going to answer questions that you don't know even that you have those. Okay, questions that everyone have in their back on their minds when we're talking about working with machine learning teams. I can already see the comments in the chat. This is amazing. Bring it on, guys. We are going to be back to it. And the reason why it's so important to talk about that is because there are five crucial mistakes that we product managers make, and here is what my machine learning colleagues think about it. Now, first to the stage, we are going to meet my dear friend and colleague Alex. She is our machine learning engineer. She is all about experimentation. She has it like, mad scientist brain. I just love her. And if to quote Alex, here on her frustration with product managers, she likes to say, when a PM asks me to ship the model next sprint, I know we are in trouble. A common mistake for us product managers is to say, we can ship the model once metrics look good. Well, no, this is not how it works. Machine learning systems need monitoring. They need retraining. They need drift detection, right? We need to understand what is the fallback logic here. This misconception that you can, ship the model once the metrics look good. This is what causes post-launch disasters. I'm not using this word disasters lightly. Disasters, not less. We have to keep this in mind. And this is the truth. Okay, this is the first thing that product managers have in mind when they think about machine learning. Is like, we often think, if I give the team clear requirements, the researchers will give me the output that I ask for. Now, I'm sorry for being the one to break it out to you guys, but machine learning isn't a vending machine. Even perfect requirements don't guarantee expected results. If we are to think about machine learning, it's more about um, the claw machines that we all know from Luna Park and from other experiences. This is what we should have in mind. It's never about an experience where you put something in and you know exactly what comes out. Usually, when we talk about machine learning, you don't really know if you're even going to get something. You don't know what are you going to get, and you don't know even how long is it going to take you to catch something. This is what we need to make in our minds, because outcomes in machine learning, they emerge from experiments, not from instructions. I know it's disappointing, but this is the truth. And this is why we have to plan our features, our experiment cycles in a way that it's all about the experiment and not about shipping something or delivering in a very deterministic way. It's not going to work this way. I'm sorry for this, but this is the hard truth, and this is the first thing that we are discussing now. Now we just talked about this first mistake, and now we are to talk about the second mistake. This is my other colleague, who very much love. This is Michael. Is our data scientist, a great guy. This person who knows everything about anything, and gives you this like small anecdotes that you wouldn't really know about any other way. And he's a great guy. And if to ask him what is the one thing that drives him nuts when working with product managers, is you can't know what success look like if you never decided what to measure. This is all too common. We've all heard teams say accuracy is the metric that I'm choosing for this delivery. But we PMs default to accuracy, but machine learning teams, they don't. They need precision or recall. They need lift. They need calibration. We often choose the wrong metric, and then the truth is that the whole project goes the other way just because we didn't know how to choose things the correct way. Now, I wanted to remember this one, guys, because it's very important. Lack of metrics early in the development, this is what causes, I think, 80% of mistakes later on. Seriously, 80%, because we don't follow the model's output. It's never about using a model and then figuring out what it will find and how cool it will be and what we can do with that. No, you have to set something very clear for the professionals, your machine learning team, to work with, so they could actually bring something to life. It's has to do with the cost sensitivity of our project. It has to do with the lift. Everything has to be part of this mission, and we have to do this super early in the process. Otherwise, it won't work. This is my third, and maybe the loveliest one of all. This is Lina, my third colleague here. She's our data engineer, and nice thing of her to say to us all product managers out there: don't assume your data exists just because you can imagine it. It happens so often. People assume that's not just people, it's we, it's me, it's me sometimes. We assume that the data will be there just because we obsess over the modeling choices. You can hear it all the time. Product managers say, okay, it's so cool, we are now going to use this model, and Google just launched that model that allowed me to see the effect on sentences in both ways. Well, guess what? It's never about the model. The model is your enabler as a product management professional. It's about you finding out what you want to deliver, what you want to achieve, and then you find out what is the best model for you to work with. This is how you go into building project management process the right way, because you don't focus on the modeling. You focus most of your time on your data related work. There is no other way to do it, and you should do it very, very early in the process. We call it data contracts, and we are going to show you very soon how to do this the right way. This is my fourth member for today for us to meet. This is Mateo, is our research scientist, is the best person to share lunch breaks with, and he always says the best model for the wrong problem is still the wrong model, and it's true. What can I say? He is correct yet again, because 85 to 90% of models out there, just so you know, guys, this is like known statistics, they don't even make it into production. And it's crazy when you think about it. People put so much time into building something, into this work, and the bottleneck at
I
the end,
hate to be
it's
the one
not
to.
about the product management. It's about us. It's not about, I'm sorry, the machine learning. It's about product managers not doing their work correctly. And we just need to avoid it very, very early in the process. Please, guys, do that. Four mistakes, and we have to make frame decisions. We have to frame the metrics, and this is a very important one. And actually, this one is one that we need to discuss. It's never about the architecture of building a product, not just in the sense of you guys, us guys, right? Need to focus on the delivery in the sense of what we want to achieve, what we want to allow our users to do better. It's not just that, it's also about recognizing that in product management culture done right, we are never, and I mean never, to decide for the scientist or the researchers on our team how to work and what model to use. So it's not just about the right product management processes, where, as we said, we don't decide on the model, right? We decide on the metrics and on the value and what we want to ship. It's not just about that. It's about product management culture within the organization where you allow everyone to do their job. This is very, very important, guys. Please remember, because I saw it so many times. I can still feel the struggle in the researchers faces when, product managers from our team told them what to use, what model to use, and when and how to do that. Please just don't do that. This is like step one in building trust between you and your colleagues, and actually having some product culture within the organizations. So we're not focusing on the architecture, we're focusing on the decisions. And with decisions, we are to meet my fifth colleague for today that we're going to meet. We are going to meet Julia. She's another research scientist on our team. And what she likes to say is, our first experiment is never a failure. And that's correct. It's data. We actually collected something, guys. This is amazing. We got to learn something. It's not about the how many times you fail, because this is the nature of science. You should fail many times. That's not bad. That's literally how it works. Machine learning is probabilistic. You can't really choose what to see as your end result. You need to iterate and iterate and iterate often and often again. So, what we need to do is to track these iterations and use them as learning points instead of judging success on round one. Without doing that, we can't really achieve anything with our machine learning teams, both in the terms of like the process is just wrong, and also we don't allow them to work the way they should work as science people. Now let's go back to our lovely poll that we had before about PMs and whether they care about users more or less or equal than machine learning people. So let's see. We have Amanda says here, be for sure. Nah, I want to go that far. PMs care about users, but ML teams do right the same. Guy here says A for me, so true. So it's about PMs caring more about users than machine learning teams. Prasanna here agrees with Guy. Both Prasanna and Guy, our very own leaguers. So happy to see you guys here in the chat. And Jill says, "Nah, I won't go that far as well." Thank you very much for that, guys. And this is very interesting because this allows us to understand how product managers think about machine learnings and in teams, and what should we actually do differently when we approach them. So this was about that, and it brings us to the fact that, you know what, I should just say it, machine learning people love users too. It's not just about us product managers who love, users. It's about them as well. It's just that the way that they like users, or the way they think about it, is quite different. It's not it's not just that. Let's say differently, we product managers usually mistake scientific focus or approach for lack of product thinking, right? When we see someone focusing on things differently, we just think that they don't have product thinking, that we of course have. But this is where we get it wrong, because in reality it's just very different orientations. Great machine learning engineers, they do care about the end result, they do care about what we ship to users, but it comes after they care about the scientific approach. If they feel that the experiment is sloppy, if they feel it's biased, if they feel it's rushed, to them the outcome is just meaningless. And we PMs, we should take something of this approach, because we should care how things are built, and what is done with machine learning or other technologies that we are used. The duct tape approach, it's great and it works, but with machine learning, it can break things in a way that we cannot even predict or monitor. So in reality, this question about who loves users more, this is more of a spectrum and less of a binary definitions of who users love. Now we are going to into building something very cool. We are going to build a recommendation engine for us at Product League. As you know, we are a product management mentoring program, and we have an e-learning where we support our leaguers with. And our goal with this to be feature is to show users lessons that they want to increase engagement. Now we're going to go through what can we do the correct way and what we can do the wrong way. And we're going back to the 5 mistakes that I mentioned before. So if the first thing that we learn is plan by experiment cycles, here, if I was to be a very careless product manager and I was designing this feature the wrong way, I will go to the machine learning team and say, "Hey, I need the top 5 recommended lesson. We need this widget. We need this delivered by next week, by next sprint." But if I'm doing that, I'm behaving like if the model is just another API, and this is not the truth. The thing about deadlines is that it works differently when we talk about machine learning. What I should do is approach it very, very differently and use it as an opportunity for experiments. So here's what I should do instead. I should define experiment cycles, not deadlines. I would say this week we will run experiment, let's say number one, simple collaborative filtering. Okay, next week it's experiment number two, let's add data freshness, so recency. The week after, it's about personalization. This way, we create a predictable learning for the machine learning team and also for us product managers. So you see the difference between the two approaches, and this is how you do it correctly. Here is another thing that we've learned earlier. We talked about metrics and we talked about locking them very early in the process. And this is the correct way to do it. Now, if I will do it wrongly, because you guys make no mistakes, right? You guys make no mistake. It's all about me making the mistakes here. So if I were careless, I would start building something without agreeing on any metric. I would say something like, let's just get it live and then we'll see what the numbers tell us. But this is how you end up with a great model that actually nobody knows how to evaluate correctly, because we don't know what we actually measure here. What we need to do is to dive into the success rate here even before a single line of code is written. We look the metrics. We talk about click-through rate. We talk about engagement lift. This makes success knowable, and everyone can actually understand if we achieved what we aim to or not. Now it's about data contracts. I told you before we are going to dive deeper into what a good data contract look like, and it does not look like when you tell the machine learning team use the user history table, because guess what? It's never there, right? It's rarely clean. It's also messy. You can't really count on it, and a lot of data cleaning should be done before you actually touch that. So what we should do is to define exactly what we are going to look at. What fields exist? How fresh should be the data? How accurate should it be? Uh, who labels that? And even when we recognize that something is missing, and it happens, things are going to be missing there. This is where we say, okay, we know that things are missing, but don't worry about that, because we have a person, and their job is to make sure you have everything you need. This is how you do it correctly, and you avoid just building something without understanding what you are building. We talked about the fact that we need to talk about decisions and not dive deep into the architecture. And this is so important, because if you find someone on your team talking about specific model, like in this example here with the bird model of Google, this this is where things go very, very wrong. Okay, it's a fantasy, because this is not a product requirement. We need to talk to the team in the sense of product requirements, and this is just not one. A product requirement looks like this: we need to increase engagement by 10%. We need to do that without biasing recommendations. Okay, we need to make sure that the other person on the team actually understand what is it that we expect them to build and how success looks like. This is a very important tip for you guys to remember, because this is something that I saw way too often happens. We focus on the models, we focus on the architecture, and in reality, nobody cares, and nobody should care. And the fifth one is about tracking everything as if it was an iteration of learning, because guess what? It is an iteration of learning. And we don't need to say, okay, something didn't work on our first time trying that, so everything is doomed, we are blocked. This is not how machine learning works. We need to iterate and iterate and iterate, and every time that something happens, we actually learn from that. Remember, my friend, okay, every time something fail, we got to learn something out of that, because this is an experiment and this is how science works. So even if the first iteration or the second version of the product didn't work out, that's fine, guys. We just learned something. Now, here is a bonus slide, something that I want to close the session with, because this is very, very, very important. There are many questions when we talk about product management and about machine learning people work together. And with that in mind, I am going to go very fast within these few questions, but I'm not stopping here, because we only have 30 minutes for this session, and I know, guys, you're going to have a bunch of questions. So hit me with your questions. Wherever it is that you watch us right now, go to the chat and hit me with the question. Doesn't matter where, if you watch it live or if you watch it afterward. That's completely fine. Hit me with the questions. Just remember to tag me and to tag Product League, or just one of us, and then I'll know that you actually asked a question, and I guarantee you I will reply with the best answer that you can get. I really want to make sure you get all the pieces for you to succeed. I told you, there was my guarantee to you, that in the end of this session you'll have all the knowledge to make you better than 80% of product managers out there, collaborating with machine learning teams. So we are back to the questions, and we are starting with the first question asking, how technical do I need to be to work effectively with machine learning teams? Now, here's the thing, you don't really need to be technical. You just need to understand what the model needs, not how it works, but what it needs. It needs good data. It has to have clear metrics. What are the constraints? Okay, what is a decision, a well-formed decision, and reasonable expectations? You don't need to perform the work yourself. No one wants you to do that. You are not hired to do that. You just need to understand how the model is going to perform on the data that you're going to have. The second question that I often see people ask is, well, our data is terrible. What we can do? So here is where I tell you guys, stop right there. If your data is not clean, if you don't actually know what is the data that you hold, if you don't have everything, summary and store the correct way, if you don't have the right access to it, if you don't know who are the people that are going to manage that, stop right there. And before you put even a single line of code into the project, this is where you start. You fix your data first, and then you can only go to the rest of the product. How do I stop my team, my machine learning team, from endless experiments? You need to set predefined thresholds. What is cheap? What is iterate? What is stop? If you have the correct thresholds, if everyone knows what is acceptable for them to work with, what you see as an acceptable, result of the product, process, this is where you can actually continue. If they don't know what is acceptable, then, well, guess what? They will just continue with their experimentation again and again and again. Avoid it. Be a product person. Second question that I know you guys have in mind is, my machine learning team ignores product thinking. So what can I do if they only care about the science? They don't care about the product. What you need to do is to go with them through the process and to show them, why did you ask them for specific metrics? What is the tie between something that you ask for and the value that the users will actually get out of that? These are science people. As long as you talk with them with like very logic, realization and understanding of why things happen, if then, well, guess what? They will go along with you. So this is how you do that. And then you get to wonder, how do I know if my machine learning team is doing a good job? And I like this question, because it shows us that sometimes we focus on the result too much as product managers, where here is time for us people to focus on the process. We need to track the cadence. We need to track the experiments. If we see that everything goes well in the sense of the experiments, this is how we know that our machine learning team does a good job. Then, what is the biggest red flag? Now, I know you already guessed it, because the biggest red flag that is going to tell you that your project will fail is about you guys. It's about us product managers, and it's about no metric being defined upfront early in the project, as we talked about previously. This is how you fail. It's not about the model, it's not about the team, it's about us product managers. We just have to admit that. And how do I explain to leadership why outcomes aren't guaranteed? Now, this is something that happens. You are going into a meeting with C levels, they ask you about the outcomes. You can't really promise them anything, right? But guess what? They do want you to guarantee something, and you can't do that. So, what I suggest you guys to do is to compare it to clinical trials. Like you don't expect anyone to go into a clinical trial of a medicine and say, yeah, this is going to work, this is 100% going to be approved by FDA. Well, guess what? This is not why we're going into clinical trial, right? We are testing things to see whether they work or not. So the same approach needs to be here. I wish I could tell you it's easy to explain it to, sea level. It often very challenging. It's a big challenge. I know that. You can always call me, right, to do that for you guys. But seriously, just try the approach of where you tell them that this is science as much as clinical trials are, and you can't really determine whether this is going to be successful or not on day one. You can't. This is how you do it. What if engineering pushes back on giving us the data that we need? Remember that we talked about the data contracts. It's about fields, it's about definition, it's about ownership. You need to reframe the whole thing as defining the minimum data that needed for the model. You're not asking for features, you are asking for the data, and this is how you get things done. And it works. It may be annoying, but it works. And if you are participating in experiment review meetings, as you should be as product manager, how do you actually participate there the correct way? You need to focus on three things, three questions only. What did we learn? Did anything change our confidence? And what next from a product perspective? Only that. Three questions, no model judging, nothing about the model, nothing about the work. It's just about that. And I know, with everyone talking and writing about AI and product management over LinkedIn and everywhere else, all the teams out there think for whatever reason they need AI on their product. Guess what? This is not the truth. And if leadership wants you to just use AI with no clear problem, what you guys need to do is just tell them stop. What is the signal? What is the success metrics? What are we trying to achieve? How are we going to do that the right way? Because it's never, never, never about the tech. It's never about the model, right? We talked about that before, and we're not stopping here. The next question, the last question I want us to discuss and to really listen to is, how do I collaborate with machine learning teams when everything feels uncertain? This is part of the process. Machine learning is always uncertain. We can't avoid that because this is what machine learning is all about. If we get to understand that, and we focus on the parts of the project that we can actually control. These are the metrics, these are the thresholds, this is the certainty, this is the cycles of the experimentation. If we are to do that this way, well, we take out some of the pressure, but also in going back into talking about product management culture done right, this is how we establish a shared understanding that we, product management teams and machine learning teams, are in this process of building these products together the correct way. Uncertainty is just part of the process. I know it's not fun, but it's the truth. Now, these were my 30 minutes for us to discuss this topic. And guys, I know you have more questions and I want to be there for you. So please go ahead and first hit the like button and subscribe to our channel or follow our page wherever it is that you watch us right now. Show the algorithm that you like our materials, but please don't stop there. Just go ahead and in the chat, share your thoughts with me. Tell me what are your issues, tell me what are your questions, and I guarantee you one thing, I'm going to make you this product manager that everyone wants to work with, machine learning teams included. And by the way, we are now launching the applications for our next batch. So if you want to join us for the next batch of Product League, where our mentors will share, we are amazing mentors, will share the know-how with you, this is when you do it. Just go ahead and check our website, productleague.com, and we can't wait to give you all the support that you need. Hit me with your best questions. I'm right here with you in the chat, and see you in our next session. Bye bye.